Hello guys, Dhananjay here and welcome back to a new video. So we have the Asus ProArt Studio Book 16. The name gives away everything. ProArt, this is made for pro people studio book because you're going to do creative work in a studio. So editing videos, editing photos, 3D rendering work, all this can be done on this laptop. I feel this laptop may not be made to sell in huge numbers. This is targeted to a very niche audience, but that niche audience is going to love this laptop. Without wasting any time, let's get started. Now let's start with some features which are very specifically available on this laptop itself. Let's talk about the dial. This is something which I have never seen on any other laptop from any other brand, and this dial can be used like really well. First of all, you can obviously control volume and brightness. You can change these settings from the application itself, and this works super fine, no issues whatsoever. But as soon as you open Adobe Premiere Pro, you get multiple options. You can zoom into the timeline, zoom out at the same time, and there are multiple ways that you can control this button. And Premiere Pro has its own options, Photoshop has its own options, Lightroom has its own options. So every application will get customization features. Right now, third-party applications cannot be customized, but Asus will be working on that in the future, and you will be able to use that. Okay, there is this ad, but that's fine. You will be able to use the dial with third-party applications as well in the future. Now, is the dial helpful? I personally have used the laptop for editing, and I use the dial a little bit, but I already know the shortcuts: control scroll wheel, alt scroll wheel, whatever I want to do. So I'm very well versed with those shortcuts, and I can use the dial pad, and I can see myself getting used to it after I use it for a few days. Like let's say 15-20 days I'm editing continuously on the laptop, and then I have decided to zoom in, zoom out. I'll simply use this dial pad, and then that is going to be helpful. Now this dial pad will be available for majority of the applications which creators usually use, so that is going to be helpful. But I do feel that this dial pad application is very niche. If your editing workflow is not that heavy and it does not include you zooming in and zooming out of the timeline like 100 times, then this may not be that helpful. But for people who do heavy editing work, this is going to be a really good option to use. Now let's talk about the display, which is once again 4K display, that too OLED with amazing contrast ratio, so many certifications. Oh my god, I can't even name all those certifications, so all those can be seen on the screen right now. But overall display quality is something which you do not have to worry about at all. Literally, view it from any angle, brightness, everything is perfect. But the display does not have matte finish. It is a glossy display. That means if I am looking at something which is, let's say, white right now, it is not going to have any issue. But if there is something black on the screen, that means the OLED screen will be turned off completely and it will be pitch black. And as this is glossy screen, that means that it is going to reflect everything and it will act as if it's a mirror. So that's something which you definitely need to take care of. But I'm assuming that if you are going to buy this laptop, you are not going to edit a lot of videos outdoors, and when you are editing indoors, those scenarios can be controlled, and then that may not be an issue. Once again, this is something which you should definitely think about before buying the laptop. Now when it comes to speakers, they do sound really good and have a very good sound quality overall, but they are not the loudest that I've heard. But overall it will get the job done. They are tuned by Harman Kardon, so I was not expecting anything less. Now let's talk about the port situation, which is, there is no situation here because there are plenty of ports available. On the right side we have a card reader slot which copies the files very fast, surprisingly fast. Headphone jack, USB A port, a dedicated LAN port is present, and on the left side we have two USB type C ports. None of them are Thunderbolt port. Are you wondering why? That's because we have a fantastic processor, 5900X, that is not made by Intel. So Thunderbolt port is not present over here. So when it comes to ports, there are plenty of them. Hinge on the laptop is very smooth, no issues whatsoever over there. But when it comes to keyboard, once again, there are no issues over here, but this is a full size keyboard with a dedicated numpad, and you have well spaced keys. Not just that, the arrow keys have texture on them. So if you use the arrow keys a lot, it is going to make your job very easy, so that you can figure out that you are on the arrow keys and you're not on some other key right now. The keyboard is also backlit, but this is not RGB backlit keyboard. This is just plain white keyboard. But when it comes to tactile feedback on the keyboard, it is really good. Now let's talk about performance, which I feel is very important. No matter how many rendering tests you do, how fast the laptop renders the video, it does not make any sense to buy that laptop if the timeline performance is not good. And when it comes to the ProArt Studio Book 16, I did not have any issues with timeline. Obviously 5900HX is a beast, coupled with RTX 3070, which can go up to 90 watts, by the way. So editing 4K videos on this particular laptop is going to be a very good experience, and editing 1080p videos is like, it's very smooth. You do not even have to worry about that. But the 3070, as I said, is 90 watt graphic card. Now when it comes to the trackpad, it's not too big like MacBooks have. It's not too small. It is sufficiently sized, I would say. And you can see these 3 buttons over here, because yes, there are actually 3 buttons, and the middle button is specifically added so that if you use a specific 3D modeling application, you can use that to rotate the objects and things like that. This is a video camera sample recorded from the laptop itself. I know the laptop is very costly, but it can record 720p videos only. It is not the greatest laptop video quality from a webcam, but the webcam does have a physical switch. Once you have the switch, it will not be able to record anything. By the way, when it comes to microphone quality, the laptop does have AI noise cancelling, which is turned off right now. I will enable it to basic reception optimization right now, and it should sound a little bit different. Now single presenter conference call पे shift कर दिया, and it will sound a little bit different. So AI noise cancellation actually works. There is not a lot of noise right now in the house, but if there is noise around you and if you turn on AI noise cancellation, it is going to do a great job. Now let's talk about gaming performance, because even though this is ProArt Studio Book, you are going to play games if you buy this particular laptop. RTX 3070 at 90 watts does perform good. 90 watts is not the highest that we have seen when it comes to RTX 3070 laptop graphic cards. But overall, the gaming performance is very good. We tried GTA 5, Rise of the Tomb Raider and CSGO. None of these games had any issues. Getting more than 100 FPS or 150 FPS was definitely possible. It's just that you have to play games at 1080p and high settings. If you switch to 4K, then you are going to get okayish performance, I would say 40 to 60 FPS depending on the game. But 1080p gaming experience on this laptop had no issues. Now thermal throttling is something which we definitely need to talk about, and benchmarks is something where the laptop is supposed to throttle, but this particular laptop did not throttle. So overall, when it comes to CPU throttling test, the laptop definitely passed, and I have to say it passed because the laptop size is not that huge. I mean, it is not like this is very heavy, too heavy, or this is too thick. It feels like a regular normal laptop. It's slightly bigger than that, of course, but for the specs that it has to offer, definitely very handy, and it is portable machine that you can take with you. The PC that I have has 3700X and RTX 3070. If I have to edit while I'm traveling somewhere, then I can definitely use this 5900HX and the RTX 3070 graphic card. It will do, or probably it will match the performance of my PC. So that's how good it is. So overall, what's my final verdict? Obviously the pricing is something which you definitely need to consider about. It's not like this laptop is available for 1 lakh rupees and you can easily go out and buy it. 4K OLED screen, 5900HX 3070, these are some beastie specifications. So the pricing is obviously on the higher side of things, but this is not a laptop which is targeted to everyone. If you are someone who edits a lot of videos on the run and you want something which is very powerful, then this is a great laptop. Dial is something, once again, as I said, it is a niche feature, but if you do your editing only on the laptop, then you can get used to the dial pad very easily in about 6 to 7 days if you use it daily and get used to the functionality of the dial pad. And I guess that's pretty much it for this particular video. If you enjoyed it, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and press the bell icon so that you get notified next time I upload a video like this one. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you for watching.